description of this video is a link to that park place and a story that I kind of figured was true. Never really had tangible proof. Well, here it goes. Let me read this to you. Just a second. All right. It is about basically the High Republic and how Barnes & Noble was conned into reserving space for it. And this is what's happening. Okay, I have to go, because I forwarded this tweet to some people. Yeah, things very slow, sorry. Okay, so I'll read this to you. And it's not like we didn't know. We've known it's a failure. We've known it's been a financial boondoggle. They're still doing it for some reason. So, all right. Star Wars fail. This is the headline. Barnes & Noble using Timothy Zahn to sell High Republic books. They're half off and on the floor. Bookstores are using older Star Wars novels. That is EU. Hey, Eldritch. Hey, Lord Hester. Using older Star Wars novels to try to sell items on their dedicated High Republic shelf spaces. So, all right, and I'm going to get into this. I haven't even talked about this, but I'll read the first couple of paragraphs. Barnes & Noble, the large bookstore and pop culture retail chain, has prominent shelf space dedicated to selling Star Wars, the High Republic. High Republic is the new young adult series for Star Wars that has created a number of risque controversies already, from a sentient rock having a sex talk with a young person to Lando fantasizing about polymorphous robot interludes to authors laughing about what they've been able to get into the books. It's quite a mess. And despite what many in the media might try to say, it's been a disaster for Lucasfilm and Disney. It's a disaster that they so far have refused to cancel, but it is a disaster nonetheless. Hi, Dave. Earlier this week, we were tipped off that Barnes & Noble likely has a contractual obligation with Lucasfilm and Disney to provide, yes, exactly, Lord Hester, to provide space, shelf space, with a graphic marquee in order to sell the High Republic goods. We were also tipped off, however, that this has been an utter failure for selling the books, and so Barnes & Noble has taken a different strategy altogether, although the new books that, I'm going to say Lucasfilm, wants to push are available on the shelf space made available to them. They have been pushed down towards the floor, and we are told this is purposeful. Apparently, there is no language in the contract that forbids Barnes & Noble from putting other Star Wars content on the shelving, and now this is why you see Heir to the Empire, you see Kenobi, you see Shatterpoint, you see Tatooine Ghost, whatever. Instead of pushing the High Republic on the High Republic section, which isn't working, they're not using the area for the decade. They're now using area for the decades old Star Wars novels that were more popular. Let me remind you guys. Remember when Heart of the Jedi came out, and it just blew Star Wars book sales away. And this comes with pictures. There you go. See, and more. So, and of course, Lightyear's seeing the clearance rack. What does all this mean? This means that despite their bombastic approach and saying they've been so successful, the authors are already paid. They're not paid by units sold. Okay, they've already, hi Cross Element, they've already likely gotten paid, and they probably are contractually told they have to market it. And of course, I can't think of anybody more arrogant or simple-minded than Daniel Jose Older, Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, and those other two fops. Okay, this is really, I mean, they're half off now. Remember when I said I expect to see these things at Ollie's soon? I do. Because look, they can't sit on that. Barnes& and Noble probably has a time limit on their contract. The moment the time limit's gone, that stuff will go away. And we'll be seeing it in Ollie's, at the Dollar Tree, at the dollar store. Okay, that's where this is headed. Just like the sad little Rays today, again, at Ollie's, because we had to go and find some stuff at Ollie's, gathering dust on the pegs. And they've been there for, I think October, but maybe it was earlier. I'd have to go through my videos on to see, because I saved them all. I can't help it. I mean, you look at them going, what I think happens at Ollie's and those places is people who are collectors go and buy a bunch. This is why sometimes you see them a bunch just disappear at once. They throw them into a bin and hope somebody someday wants one, okay? But the fact of the matter is, this is all gaslighting. And the authors probably don't know how bad it is. They probably don't care. All right, I'm going to read this to you. Like seeing Lightyear toys in clearance aisles, there can be no better way of seeing consumer rejection than retail strategies. Perhaps just as sad, all the Star Wars novels in the section are 50% off. How far the franchise has fallen, only propped up by a corporation with money to burn on reserved spaces, but not enough foresight to create content that consumers want. All right, I don't know about that. I think the fact of the matter is you can find all kinds of stuff right now at 50% off that can is Star Wars. But it would be very interesting if somebody at Barnes & Noble were to contact that Park Place or somebody else and ask, what are the sales for the High Republic compared to Zahn's Thrawn trilogy and his newer efforts, okay? Then you'd know. All right, we know that they're not selling well on Amazon. We know that Scholastic got conned into buying a bunch. They're not gonna sell them. They're not gonna sell them. This is all gaslighting. All right, this is all gaslighting. All right, and with the economy the way it is, I expect retail sales to this is what I've heard, that stuff that we need, toilet paper, water, milk, eggs, bread, meat, etc., we're going to be paying them through the nose for. Stuff we don't need, like 80-inch screen TVs, flat screen TVs, Bluetooth setups, stuff like that. This is the stuff that was sitting in crates off of Los Angeles Harbor while Joe Biden did this. All right, that stuff we'll be able to get for a penny. So people will be able to get stuff for Christmas. It's just they won't be able to eat. Okay, that's what's going on. And I think retail sales, if inflation keeps going the way it's going, and there is no end in sight, are gonna, okay, it's all just it's a self-licking ice cream cone now. It's round and round, it's a circle. And this is gonna really affect Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is a brick and mortar store Yes, you're right. You're right, Hester. You're right. Brick and mortar store. And I'd rather go and look at the books. I'll show you what I got today. This is so cool. I'm so proud of this. I like collecting. There's Kojak. I like collecting cookbooks. So I got this. And for $6, not a bad price for a big cookbook, and it's really beautiful. I mean, the pictures are just great. Oh, it's all right. Don't worry. I'm not gonna jump on you for spelling something wrong. The only time if you spell lose, Loose, then I get mad. And everybody, oh, he's fine now. He's fine now. I don't know what was going on with him yesterday, but once Daddy came home, he was, you know, like he was on speed or something. So he's fine. He might have had a tummy ache or something, but it went away. Anyway, we're gonna see this stuff at Ollie's, okay? And it's very, look, I have ADD, so it's fine. I am like, when? Okay, this is a big deal. Okay, let's do a timeline here. Peter Rice gets fired. What was that, around the beginning of June or something? Kenobi's numbers came in. Kennedy just suddenly goes to Europe, hasn't come back yet. And then we find out that Bob Chapek has gotten his contract renewed for 3 years. I would say, this is what I think is going on. I would say she's trying to avoid it. I don't, part of me said, I was talking to my husband about this, and I really don't think it would be out of Chapek's realm of, I'm fucking sick of this shit, to go and just say, send her an email. I need to talk to you. Get on the Zoom call now. Or his assistant sending her the link, and get rid of her that way. But the fact is, she is avoiding something. Okay, now we've got Doomcock's rumors that I didn't watch the whole video because I was like, oh God. And I gotta tell you something about those rumors. Okay, and I hope he watches this. That Favreau's frustrated and he may leave, and the board doesn't want to do anything to Kennedy right now, and Chapek is more worried about Marvel bullshit. Here's how you look at stuff like that. There are no movies coming out for Lucasfilm except Indy 5. That's it. No Star Wars at all. There's a ton of shit coming out for Marvel. At SDCC, all they did was talk about the High Republic and made that little announcement about the Acolyte. That's it. So what I think is going on is, I think, as Cameron said, the decision with Kennedy was already made. Okay, now people say, yeah, she got herself into trying to mess with Favreau and stuff. Well, was it her, or are the people still loyal to her on her behalf? I mean, you gotta think of that when you look at all this. This is corporate politics. Even if the people who are fucking with Favreau don't know that. All right, so what I think is going on is, I think she sees the writing on the wall. I think we make it an announcement. I mean, D23 is coming up on the 9th. I thought it was Monday. It's coming up on the 9th. I think we're going to get an announcement probably after Disney's fourth quarter or third, with their next quarterly report. Everybody's been reporting in with numbers or with their earnings, and it's been bad. It's been bad across the the playing field right now. So I don't expect Disney to put big numbers up, but I also don't expect them to do too badly because they they opened up Disney Plus in like 50 new countries. So I expect that to go up a little. I expect some news about streaming and like ESPN Plus and Hulu and the rest of it. But I don't expect it to be amazing or anything. I do expect an okay thing. I look at them to do better than Netflix in this instance, and the reason why is because Netflix is starting to lay people off. Okay, now I expect in the next 6 months for Disney to start doing the same thing. All right, because that Park Place has reported that the parks are now starting to be affected by the recession. All right, and that is a big deal. That is where they make their money. All right, that is why Star Wars and Marvel and Pixar have to do well because those movies get people to take their families to the parks. Okay, that was why Walt wanted to make those movies and make movies like that. And it's one controversy after another. We've got, you know, the backlash coming still from Wokistan, over Wokistan's, freak out, and changes in the park, like among attractions and everything that people don't like. And I just want to tell you guys that this is going to be a BFD going forward. And I honestly think that when I think about all this stuff, that there has to be changes coming. Look, they try to write books, and I know that Barnes and Noble stupidly signed a contract with them and bought the books. Okay, so if you think Disney's making any more money on these books, they're not. They're not. What it looks like to me, just from that article, is that they tell Barnes and Noble you need to buy 50,000 books or whatever books. Barnes and Noble contracts is out for that many books. Okay, with the contract saying that this is dedicated shelf space, big banner headlines, all the rest of this stuff, and there you go. Okay, and they got conned. They were conned. Thanks, Dave. And Scholastic got conned, and it's going to end up really biting people in the ass in the end. But again, the authors aren't probably aware of all that. Again, they signed contracts, they got paid, they're out there doing their press stuff like they're told they have to. There you go. And it's they don't know, and if they do, they're gaslighting. I can't really understand why you put a product out there, no one's buying it. You know it. You got paid, but you're looking at how it's going, and it's not going good, but you still think you were a success. That's really dishonest. But again, that's gaslighting. We know what we see. We know what we've seen. But we're being told, oh no, you're crazy. This is great. No, it's not. I mean, then they have, their bot accounts and their little SJW army saying, oh, I can't wait to see a High Republic movie. Like that's never going to happen. Okay? This has got to be canceled. It really, really does. And I really honestly think that all this shit going down with Kennedy and everything is her delaying the inevitable. I might be wrong, but the more I think about it, the more I ponder it, the more I see a lot of holes in the theory that she's got anything to do with any of this anymore. And the people fucking with Jon Favreau are not her. They're her loyalists, Michelle Rejwan, Carrie Beck, uh, Lin-Wen Brennan, those bitches, okay? But, Rain Roberts and the rest of that garbage. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And, you know, I want to caution people on this. When you get rumors like that, you got to consider where did it come from? Because it contradicts everything else. When I hear, like, I was talking to Cameron, and he basically said that, the Lucasfilm people that were bothering him were basically gaslighting him. So when I looked at that video, do me, I thought we're being gaslit. None of this is true. Okay, none of it. Now maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see, I see Jon Favreau, he's under a contract. He can't leave. He can't. Okay. I mean, James Gunn might want him, but would he want to go there? Especially, you know, they got that DeLuca guy at DC. I think he's probably just going to stay running that. And, what would you rather do? Would you rather save DC or Star Wars? Which is the bigger cultural icon? Star Wars. Which means more to people? Star Wars. Okay. All right. You'd stay there. All right. Yeah, he is. And he knows it's the right thing to do. I mean, I'm watching the ILM documentary. Is anybody here watching that? Put a one in your, or has anybody watched it? Put a one in the chat. It is fantastic. It is fantastic. I'm on the part where they started to make The Empire Strikes Back. And it is so good. I can't. I mean, it opens up with all these famous filmmakers talking about the first time they saw Star Wars. Jon Favreau's my age. So I saw it when he was 9. All right. We're part of that group of people who first, when they were kids, saw it and went, Superman 2 didn't make me want to do that, get into movies. Rocky didn't. I love both of them. What got me into it was Star Wars. Okay. And I think the reason why I've talked about this before is when they talked to George about what got him into doing this, he had read The Hero with 1,000 Faces and realized there could be movies like that. There should be, like Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, space opera serial, right? But I think it's more than that. It's more than that because those things never took off. All right, they were too niche. Star Wars is about everybody. It's about everybody. And that's why, and it's about, and it hits everybody across the planet because they recognize those stories. They recognize the heroes and the villains. They recognize what it's about. All right. And that's the thing. And I really think that my part of the generation, the early Gen Xers, who are kids in the 70s, really responded to that. All right. And it's one of those things where you gotta, understand that people look. There are people out there that are jealous. They're your friends. They're envious. They're your colleagues, right? That's what happened with Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy, I can do better than he can. It should be about women. Yeah, it was. That was too. But George in the documentary mentioned Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. It, she's the one that erased Leia. She's the one that erased the romance. She's the one that erased Padme, right? These women who don't like being women, I think, and that's the problem. And that really is a problem with the High Republic. Okay, it really, really is. I mean, and that's why it's not selling. Kids don't want to read that shit. They really don't. A kid can tell a creepy person from a mile away. And like, I'm gonna bring this up. You know, maybe not. Okay, no, I won't. And that's why it's the High Republic isn't selling. Okay, and that's why they're gaslighting us. That's why I do believe that rumor that Doomcock put out there was gaslight. He's being gaslit right now because I think that the Kennedy thing is over. I mean, look, and again, how can you look? I can't switch gears without when I know everything that happened in the past. The Gina Carano thing, all those articles that came out, culminating with the Atlantic, basically saying Jon Favreau is running Lucasfilm for all intents and purposes, right? And the Puck story that Matt Bellany put out there, that he should actually be the one making the movies. Kennedy sucks, and then his, sort of smart-assy, sarcastic, yeah, but she. Yeah, um, you know, uh, Matt Bellany basically being a smartass and saying, "Oh yeah, did you hear she got her 3-year contract extension?" You know, and that's it. That's all we've heard. 3 years, but we don't really know if it's, oh, that's cool. Well, just Mike, we're dealing with people who can't handle debate. They can't handle different opinions. Like rewriting Ripley. I went off on them a couple of days ago on Twitter. They're upset at EVS. They're upset at Eric July. They're upset at the Phantom Menace. And I'm not going to defend the Phantom Menace when they say stupid shit, but I'm also not going to tell them they have to deplatform themselves. I'm not going to insist that happens. That's fascism. Okay, these people can't handle a different opinion, and they think they own it. All right, they think they own it, and they don't. Okay, they don't. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to everybody, and they don't understand that they have such a small minority that what they want isn't what the vast majority of fans want. This is why it's failing, but in their mind, because they believe all the bullshit they've been told by Hidalgo and Kennedy and all the rest of this insane clown posse, that they think it's a success, and it's not. It's not. Look, we have learned since 2018 that a movie can make $1 billion and fail. All right, and fail. TLJ not only failed to make what they projected it should make, it didn't come even close to it. And, Soilo, I mean, blame the backlash on TLJ. But when you look at that movie as it is, it was never going to be a big deal. And it was never going to work because it was just a fucked up mess from the beginning. And that was Kennedy's fault. She should have been kicked off the team then. And that's Bob Iger. Oh, yeah, it is. It is, Pete. That's Bob Iger protecting his little friend Kathy because she probably did have blackmail on him. All right? But I don't think she has blackmail on anybody else anymore because I think the team Yeah, well, just Mike, that's their justification, but it doesn't make any sense when you look at the world now. And it they don't under look. I did that video about rewriting Ripley. Do you think those girls know anything about business? Do you think they know anything about marketing? Do they know anything about making money, the stock market, shares, the economics of making a movie? I could sit there and explain to them how much it costs to make a big tentpole Star Wars movie. $225 million. That's a lot of money. And then, and I'm going to use the old thing, but I still think it kind of, without this, and this is now, there's no licensing for the movie to go on TNT, ABC, whatever, or CBS or whatever, right? No going on HBO anymore. They have their own streaming service, so they're not getting money from that, any of that. They've crippled themselves. And it's sad when I look at it, but when you're thinking about it, okay, a streaming service, great. I'm not sure if this is a good idea because we're losing a stream of cash. So you've got a $225 million budget. And let's say, like, you didn't go over. Kennedy, she's supposed to be so good at the budget. And it's like, oh God. All right. Half that would be marketing. So, whatever. All right. And then you put it out there, the distributors get their, and the exhibitors get their share. I mean, Solo did not, it made what, $350 million? When you look at it in total, it lost about $250 million. Because if you take away the marketing, the production budget that went almost over 400 million, and then what the exhibitors took, that's a big red X through everything. That's a big red X. Did TLJ make money? I have had people tell me no, it didn't. The Rise of Skywalker barely limped over $1 billion, and that was another bloated budget, over budget reshoots, Kennedy fiasco. Okay, and again, if you're the one in charge, it's your fault. It is. Okay, that's what happens everywhere. Okay, and yet we're still sitting here like, when is she leaving? And this isn't fair to the fans. It's not fair to the guys at ILM and VHX, VFX, and everywhere. Okay, it's not fair to the people that have worked on Andor. It's not fair to the people that worked on Ahsoka. It's not fair to the people that work on Mando. Okay, at all. It's not fair to the people to the fans that have been ridiculed and mocked because they were pissed off about what happened to Han and Luke and what happened to the storytelling itself. All right. I'm gonna say this: if Disney was, if Disney was Gambino crime family, Bob Chapek was Carlo, you'd be finding a lot of people all over kind of not among the living anymore because of all the money they lost. It's a business that has to run well, and damn it, they did not. Okay, now when you look at the first Star Wars movies, George was way over budget. He was absolutely pulling his hair out trying to get it done. And when it finally got edited the way he wanted it, and still, it wasn't what he wanted because CGI wasn't invented then. And because then you could really make it look like something you'd never seen before. Okay. And he still, was successful. Okay. Now we're into The Empire Strikes Back on the documentary. It's movies aren't going to make you rich. It's the merchandise. Okay. It's because what you do is you take the profits from the movie, the net box office, which is the profit, and you put it into your next movie. Yeah, well, he could, with what the special effects with what they had, he just had to do with work with what they had. And you're right, Peter. You're exactly right. So why are we sitting here allowing ourselves to be gaslit by the High Republic authors? And why are we pretending that everything's fine and dandy? Okay, this is why I don't agree with anything that person, whoever it was, told Doomcock. And if they're watching, they can come and talk to me about it. Okay. I'm very easy to find. He's got my email. Okay. This is gaslighting. Okay. The people that don't want Star Wars to return to its roots, and returning to its roots doesn't mean old, doesn't mean going back to whatever. It means to returning to what worked. Okay? Returning to what worked. And it's very hard for me to sit there and listen to people screaming about again, they erased the romance, they erased Leia, they erased Padme. The two women that mattered most. When you've got Molly Damon screaming on the top of her lungs that there weren't women in Star Wars, strong women, I'm like, that is a lie. And she's gaslighting the people that listen to her. All right, everybody here knows it's a lie. That is a fucking lie. All right, and they know it. They know it. But again, it's they don't care, and they don't care if the movies didn't make money. They don't understand that you need to do that. Okay, these are people who grew up seeing money go into their accounts, not really paying attention to taxes or anything else. They probably still fill out 1040 EZ forms. Okay. There you go. All right. And when they get their tax, their money back from the IRS, they think they're actually making money, and they're not. That's not, oh, here's some money. No, it's not. It's your money being given back to you. Okay, that's what that is. It's not a rebate. A rebate, that's what a rebate is. Okay, it's bullshit. All right, but they don't know that, and they don't care, because they don't live in the world where they've had to worry about rent, car payment, insurance, food, medical. All right, you don't do what they do with those kinds of worries in your past. Okay, you just don't. And the same goes for Hidalgo. He thinks everything should be free. Of course, you tell him nothing is for free. That goes right over his head. They really don't understand. It's just really fascinating to me that they've gaslit themselves over the movies. They've gaslit themselves over how successful they were. And we all have to suffer for it. And it really, I'm going to say this, I'm really sick and tired of this continuing to happen. And I'm really getting impatient. I want it to be fixed. Now, I've been telling you guys and myself, it's going to take time, blah, blah, blah. But in lieu of all this, why are we still talking about it? Ever since 2018, why are we still talking about it? Oh, cool, Peter. That's interesting. So but I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was very timely, and I thought it was something that people have to talk about. All right, you know, they'll one of my somebody one of my buddies on Twitter had sent that article to Kevin Scott. Dave, do you want to block this guy? Or I will. Let me do it. You don't get to insult Leia. That was part of the story, and she knew how the what the Death Star actually looked like. She knew the schematics, which is why she was able to do that. And oh, by the way, I'm really glad you hate her so much because you're not a Star Wars fan. Fuck off. Okay, there. I said it, and I'm glad. But I'm really glad I was able to read this article to you guys because it's nothing. It's pretty damning. I'm going to do a video on this. You guys have been gaslit about Harrison Ford. All right. Remember how, oh, he hates Han, he wants to kill him off, blah, blah, blah. If you, yeah, well, he got added to a retweet. All right. I don't care if you're a nice guy. If you're trying to blow smoke up my ass, I'm going to kick your ass. Okay, that's it. Do not lie to me because I know what the truth is. All right. I'm going to do a video on this, but there are quotes in an article that basically prove that he didn't want Han to die. He just didn't see where he was going to go. Yeah, he regretted that big time. And and I know why too. What they did to Mark Hamill, and as mad as I am at him, was dehumanizing. It was degrading. What they did to Carrie was dehumanizing and degrading. Okay? And if he had been on that set, Rian Johnson would have been fired because he would have thrown a hissy fit and insisted this a first draft, are you shitting me? That's what would have happened. He would have kicked ass. And that movie might have gone absolutely haywire in the filming, but Mark would have been treated with respect. Carrie would have been treated with respect. I doubt we would have seen, Haldo probably would have been turned into her friend Winter. Okay? All right. But no, he did regret it. And his problem with Return of the Jedi was that he didn't feel like he was part of the story. Okay? I don't know. I think he might be. It would be interesting to ask him. I think if he read Tatooine Ghost, I think it would have been like, now I get it. Now I get why you guys are so pissed off. And I think he knows. He has said, you got to give the fans what they wanted, what they want. All right? And we didn't get anything we wanted from any of those movies. And I'm adding Soilo to that too. All right? Anyway, I got to go because I'm going to do some stuff. I've got those quotes. Mimilicious sent them, or basically got me to look, so. It should have been the soft handoff. Luke giving the Skywalker lightsaber to Jaina or Jason or whoever. Han passing on the Falcon and his gun rig to another son. okay? Leia, you know, leading the Republic, and what I think, you could have the Republic and what's left of the Empire fighting somebody else. I mean, that would have been interesting. Had all ideas on this, but anyway, I gotta go. You guys have a good afternoon. I wanted to go live just to talk about this latest, and I think tomorrow or Monday I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble, and I'm gonna look at the see what they have for the High Republic out, and if it's like this, then I'm gonna go. And also, Target does that too. High Republic's not up there; it's down below. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you guys around the galaxy.